Hello and welcome back to the End of the Fourth football show. It is me, your host, B-Hizzy, aka Brendan Hurst, and as always, I'm joined by the one, the only, The Prez, Chris Mullaney. How are you doing, man?
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Well, we're back. Scheduling conflicts made it a little bit difficult to record this episode last week, but we're here together once again, and it's going to be a good show. I'm looking forward to it.
Should be.
Really getting into the kind of meat and potatoes of the off-season kind of pre-draft stuff. But first, we need to talk some news, and I think the biggest one from the past couple of days has really been Lamar Jackson tweeted out that he requested a trade from the Ravens on March the 2nd, and then was it 5 days later they put the non-exclusive rights tender tag or whatever it's called on him.
See, the thing with Lamar, he's requested a trade, and a lot of teams, as we're going to get onto, are out on him now. They don't want him. It's a wee bit like selling your house. You don't go to a mansion and you say, I'm going to buy the mansion, I can afford it. Do you want to look inside? Right, I'll look inside. I'm still going to buy it anyway. You walk in, there's no walls. Lamar's been hurt for the last 2 seasons. He's not hurt as in not missed the whole season, but he's missed a huge chunk of it. And why would you then invest a huge amount of money into a player who's hurt? The other thing is he wants the same sort of contract as Deshaun Watson. Now, you don't go to your work and your boss goes, right, I'm going to give you a new contract, right? I'm going to give you 18 quid an hour. And you go, but the guy over the street's earning £20 an hour. Yeah, but you know, I'm giving you 18 quid. No, I want what he's got. No, it doesn't work like that. You get paid on what you can produce. He has one playoff win. It's just, I think that why would you want to leave Baltimore anyway? They're almost like, not a guarantee now, but they're a playoff team virtually every year, or they should be.
I think that, you know, it's clearly obvious that he's loved in Baltimore, and he's a cult hero out there, and there'd be no question he would start regardless of, you know, when he's healthy. There's no competition involved in there. It's nothing that he would I don't know, I don't want to say fight for, but there's nothing he has to worry about, almost like his job is secure, that kind of thing, as long as he can keep producing at the level he plays. The only problem is, like you say, is he's just not healthy. And with the style of play that he has, you really think that he could survive another 2 years taking the hits that he takes because he's such a dynamic runner. And on the flip side as well, is that's obviously such a huge part of his game. I don't know if, and I think he's a great thrower of the football, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if he can make the clutchest of the clutch throws that guys, even in his division, can make. You know, you'd trust that Joe Burrow can do that. You'd trust that Deshaun Watson can do that. Well, maybe we'll see more so this coming season. He's got a full off season with the team, and that the whole case isn't on his mind anymore, which it should be, but that's for another podcast. And then, you know, other guys, Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes, and, you know, even maybe some of these guys that are coming in the draft. You know, if CJ Stroud goes to the Texans, I think that CJ Stroud could make the throws better than Lamar can.
I think it depends on what your style of game is, because Lamar's not going to stand in the pocket. He's not and throw 60 yards. He's not. His is, let me quickly have a look at my progressions. All right, nothing's there, I'll run. That's it. And you know what? I have no issue with that if that's what wins games. You know, I'm pretty sure if, you know, all other teams had a quarterback similar, they probably wouldn't mind either. But to request a trade clearly shows he's not happy with something in Baltimore, and it's because he wants this fully guaranteed contract, and you're not going to get that.
Yeah, he isn't going to get that, and I think it's like purely based off his play. he should be in the conversation for a contract like that, because he is one of the you would be comfortable in saying he's a top 10 quarterback in this league, but he's just not healthy enough. And
Yes.
that the biggest factor for a quarterback is availability, and he just hasn't been. He's missed, is it 10 plus starts over the last 2 years? And that's a huge deal. If that's 5 games a season, really, in that AFC, with how competitive it is, even the AFC North, to be honest, because all those teams are on the up.
No, that's the thing. I think the AFC has better quarterbacks than the NFC, and that's not even up for debate. But we'll go into that in a different show.
Mm-hmm. So obviously we said there's a lot of teams that are out on him, and you just you've got to. I think it's a different. Obviously, it's a very, very different scenario to what Colin Kaepernick was unfortunate to what's the word, experience, because I don't think there's any doubt across the 32 GMs in the league Lamar can play, and there was with Colin Kaepernick. And I don't know how to approach this. There's a lot of people saying that this could be because he's black and the owners are blackballing him, and I have to say I disagree. I think it's just down to the. Yeah, and I've no doubt that there is racism embedded in the owners in the National Football League, without a doubt. But I don't think that is the biggest factor involved in why Lamar's not being signed by teams. And maybe that's controversial, but I really do. And I am, people that know me, I am almost as left-wing and liberal, whatever you want to call me, as you like. I would say if I thought this was a skin color issue, and I really don't think it is. I just think it's because he's not available.
No, I don't. It's nothing to do with skin. But I'm going to put you on the fence. Of the 32 teams, where would he go?
That is the question.
What I mean by that is, as I said just off air there, I've got 4 quarterbacks going in the top 10. So where's he going to go? Realistically, Washington. That's it. But I think they're going to go with Sam Howell.
I think to be honest, he's probably going to be in a similar situation he would be in Baltimore. It's just the weapons aren't really there.
I mean, but where will they go? Because, I mean, nowhere in the NFC really needs a quarterback, realistically. Arizona, maybe, but they're not going to have Lamar and Kyler Murray on the same team. That's just not going to work. New Orleans, but
New Orleans, I was just thinking that. New Orleans. I think that Minnesota, potentially.
No, because Kirk Cousins is there.
Well, I've heard rumors that they would look to move on from him. And I think, honestly, do think that if the opportunity arrived, they would jump at the chance to. But just how expensive he is with the 2 first-round picks, and the roster needs the investment in the 2 first-round picks rather than just a quarterback who might be able to play 12 games a year.
Exactly.
The other one I would think was Detroit. I think the weapons there would be phenomenal for him, and I think that the system would work really well.
Maybe Detroit, but I think what would happen is they're going to take a quarterback day 2.
Yeah.
I've got Detroit taking a quarterback day 2.
I could see that happening. And you just think, where else? Is there anywhere else? Maybe Los Angeles, the Rams?
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't think they would do it this year. That is the thing. I think if this happened next year and they could see about getting a lot of Matt Stafford's money off the books, it would be more of a realistic possibility. But I don't think that it's a possible landing spot, but I don't think it would work logistically. I mean, they don't have the first round picks for one thing.
Exactly. Anyway, that's for a different day when he's finally being traded.
Yes, we'll see. We'll see where he ends up going. I mean, it would be funny if he ended up on the Jets after all this with Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, don't start with that. I'm starting to get bored of that now.
I must admit, I'm getting bored now. Did you catch my very emotional, heartfelt show?
I didn't. I'll be honest, I didn't. I caught clips.
That's fine, but I now I'm kind of past the real emotion of him going. I'm more of what he means to me. I think that generally the feeling I feel more towards it now is just boredom, and I just want it to be done so it's something we don't have to worry about anymore.
Yeah, do you know, even doing this show, I can't help but look at that Adams thing you've got in the back, because you put on for something better,
Mm,
right? And I commented on it,
I must
and
have
my
missed
miss,
that.
no, my missus told me to delete the comment. She didn't
Oh,
like it.
right.
I said, "What is it? Your wedding picture with Kerry's face cut out with Joe Burrow?"
I like it.
You can't put that. What if his wife sees it?
Well, that was extraordinarily good patter. I'll give you that. I would have
That
appreciated that. I'm not gonna lie.
that's like the meme. You know, the one. It's the guy and the woman. Is, I bet he's thinking about other women. That was you and Kerry. Kerry, I bet he's thinking about other women. You, I wonder if I can marry Joe Burrow.
Nah, he's gonna marry Livy Dunn from LSU, the
Oh, well,
gymnast. I don't know if you've heard much of it. She wants to pump him really badly. But
well,
that's
I
for
mean,
another show.
yeah, I mean, if he's got. I mean, big bank balance doesn't always equal good in bed, though.
Well,
Anyway,
again, that's
let's
for
move
another show,
on.
potentially not on the Let's Talk Sports Network.
Yeah,
It still is LTS, but it's a different S word.
yes, yes. You'll have to edit that bit out.
There's no rules. Dan's not sent me any rules. Anyway, I think the off-season shows go on our channel, so we'll figure it
That's
out.
all
It's fine. Right, let's move on. The owners' meeting. Nothing really spectacular has come out. Like we say, we're bored of the Aaron Rodgers drama. So the Brian Gutekunst saying Aaron Rodgers ghosted him. Aaron Rodgers saying communication is key to me. Don't care. Really,
No,
I don't care. I am. Look, these two have clearly not got on for a while, and they made things work for a bit, but now it's over, and it's just another non-story to me. And I don't think it's going to drag on the really anything. I just think if anything, it just really sets home that Rodgers not returning to Green Bay.
exactly.
What else did we have? Proposed rule change was if you have was it a losing record,
Yeah,
you don't get a home playoff game if you were to win your division.
yeah. Which we discussed last
Mm-hmm.
season,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm definitely all for. But we'll see how it goes,
Mm.
because that's obviously a rule change. But now it's not going to happen,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I mean that it's not going to happen. But what if in the AFC West all four quarterbacks just had stinkers,
Mm.
and Patrick Mahomes wins the division at say 8 and 9,
Mm.
doesn't get a home playoff game? The league's going to freak out.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It would be
Teams get affected by this.
mhm,
It's similar to what UEFA did when they abolished the away goals rule,
mhm,
because big teams got affected by it.
mhm.
It's just my theory. I think this rule would last maybe a year.
Yeah.
That's it, and it will depend who gets affected by it.
Mhm,
Because I guarantee you, and I would stake my house on this, if Dallas Cowboys got affected by it,
mhm.
Jerry Jones would freak.
Yep. He would freak
But
and he would sack his coach.
yeah,
Um, no, no,
that
I tend to agree with you. And I think that, to be honest, if I'm totally honest, I don't think it should necessarily be a home playoff game you miss out on. Like, if the scenario plays out, like, if the rule was in place last year, the Buccaneers made the playoffs at 8 and 9, the Lions missed the playoffs at 9 and 8. If it was me, my rule would change it slightly. If you have a losing record, you're not going to the playoffs, pal. I mean, if there's a tie in there, I could work with it. But if you're 8 and 9, no, you're not going to the playoffs for me. And Lions versus Cowboys, and the Cowboys give the Cowboys the home playoff game. That would have been way more fun to watch.
the only issue with that is, then what's the point in having divisions then?
Mhm.
You see my point?
I know, I
Because
suppose.
you may as well just have the 16 NFC teams, the 16 AFC teams. They play 15 regular season games against each other, and then with no bye weeks, the top eight make the playoffs in each side, quarters, semi, final, and then the Super Bowl.
I mean, like, I get
You
what
may
you're
as well
saying. It's
recall.
just it's just an
You
incentive.
may
Like,
as well.
how often do we really see a team with a losing record win? I mean, the last team before the Buccaneers was it the Panthers in 2014? So look, if it happens every 8 years and somebody misses out because of it, I'm sorry, they deserve to miss out because of it. So I think you can still keep the division format in that case. But obviously it's only we're speaking hypothetically.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Anything else in the news that we want to catch up that actually interests us? We won't capture everything because, to be honest, you can tell it's an off-season day when, you know, what's been happening recently happens, and we just don't care. You know,
I mean that's it. I mean,
you can wear
I don't.
zero now on your jersey. That's
Woo!
semi-interesting. We don't mind that.
It's. I think now we're going to have so many players now wanting the number 0,
Yeah,
and I'm not. I don't. I'm. I think the number 7 should be banned anyway.
number 7.
Yeah,
Why?
because Jalen Brown wears it of Boston. He's a tube.
All right.
I done a bet last night on the 2 games. 4 players to hit 4 or more bloody 3s. 3 did it, and Jalen Brown, he shot 3 from 5 in the first bloody half. All I had to do was shoot one more. Coach left him on the bench.
It was like me in the Super Bowl. I had an accumulator, and I just needed AJ Brown to get one more touchdown. I would have got £1,500.
I know how you feel.
Alas, it wasn't meant to be. I used up all my
Yeah,
betting luck in the 2018 World Cup, where
yeah.
yeah, that was
Scott
a good laugh.
McTominay goal machine.
Yes, he's fine for Scotland, but for Man United, he's still a terrorist in my
Oh, I
books.
love him. I
He
love him.
says wearing a PSG top.
Yeah. I caught the back of it. My daughter's going to batter you.
Why?
Let me see if I can balance this.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, she has a fascination with that little French fella.
Mbappe, some player. I can see I got Messi on the back of this,
Saw
um,
that.
purely because and you wouldn't think that I was a Messi fan with the way I was trash talking Argentina in the World Cup, um, purely because I've seen this video, of like this guy who looks like Messi breakdancing in a German electrical store, and it just made me laugh a lot. And I thought, I want one of these, so I got one.
Oh, she loves Mbappe.
I like
She's
Mbappe.
she's also got a thingy which I've still to put up on the wall. I'll see if I can get it in the frame.
Your house coat doesn't fall.
Oh, sorry. I'm 2 seconds. I'm trying to turn the camera around because it's actually it's at the top.
I like it. Oh, you're in your office, I see.
Yes.
Ah, yes, very nice.
That took up on our wall. Anyway, that's a different day. Let's move on to quarterbacks.
Yes, let's move on. Let's move on to the actual part of this show that we're going to talk about. We did a show, our last show together was about the 2 top quarterbacks in this draft class, CJ Stroud and Bryce Young. And now we're going to talk about the best of the rest from the QBs in this draft class. And we're going to split it up into day 1, day 2, and day 3. So let's start off day 1. Your guy, Will Levis, out of Kentucky. You think he's the best quarterback in this draft? Enlighten us how.
I just think that with the way that he plays, right? That's that's just the way I watched bits of him and I watched bits of Anthony Richardson in the combine. The problem I have is I keep saying it's all about landing spots.
Mm-hmm.
I have Will Levis going to the Colts.
Mm-hmm.
Who's he going to throw to?
Mm.
Michael Pittman, and he's got Jonathan Taylor as a running back.
Yeah.
The Colts are going to have to bolster that wide receiver room.
I mean, I don't mind Alec Pierce, but he's got room to develop.
You see my point? I'm talking about dependable receivers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because my problem is the problem with these young quarterbacks is they're all going to bad situations. It doesn't matter how generationally gifted you are. You're going to a bad team.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why, if I was a quarterback, I don't want to be the number one quarterback selected in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
The best quarterback in one of the drafts, I think it was two, or let them try to think. Was it the Baker Mayfield one, or was it the one before that? Patrick Mahomes went to Kansas City 10.
Yeah, 2017, yeah. Mm-hmm.
10.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the best quarterback in the draft. It's turned out he was.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody was even contemplating him.
I mean, the Chiefs traded up from, what was it? They were pretty late in the first round. They traded up to number 10. And he would have fallen. I don't think he would have fallen to where the Chiefs were.
No,
but he wasn't a top 10 pick.
But they've got him.
Yeah.
They've got the best player in the draft. The Aaron Rodgers draft.
Mm-hmm.
He was the best quarterback in the draft. And who went number one? Alex Smith.
Alex Smith.
You know, he fell into Green Bay's lap.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's so many quarterbacks go drafted late on who, in my opinion, are more successful than the ones that go number one.
Yeah.
You know, but I do like Will Levis. I think he's a big kid, good arm, quite accurate.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all you need to be. Accurate. You don't have to be Usain Bolt.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you need a bit of protection from your offensive line. I think Chris Ballard of the Colts is one of the best drafting GMs in the league.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So I think if they can get the wide receiver room sorted, offensive line keeps Will Levis upright.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say it. I could see them win the division this year.
Yeah.
I don't want them to win the division, but they could.
Yeah. Okay. No, I could get on board with that. It wouldn't be a long shot, but I mean, the Colts have kind of scarred me a little bit after I was pretty confident they were going to win the division last year. And I mean, they just awful, absolutely awful. Right. Here's my take on Will Levis, because I mean, you've kind of said it all. Great size, 6'4", 230 pounds. That's very prototypical of what you want as an NFL quarterback. I think he's got the best arm in this class in terms of arm strength. Underrated athletic ability is something that teams may have to watch out for, because I think that he's like he almost like an Aaron Rodgers in, you know, the run game. You think, you know, primarily throws the ball as you'd want from your quarterback, but really does have the wheels to move the chains. And it's got that awareness when, you know, isn't like Anthony Richardson, for example, and is going to dive off after, you know, okay, first read's covered, right? I don't feel comfortable moving. I'm just gonna bail out and pick up what yards I can. So no, I think he's got that. I think he's got that Aaron Rodgers wheels type of ability, and he's excellent in short passing game. Accuracy, you said he's accurate. At times I can see that for sure. But other times I see that he's going to need a bit of refinement on some routes.
Josh Allen, when he came out of Wyoming, he's got a fantastic arm, but throws it a wee bit.
Yeah. And as a result of his arm strength, he can be a little bit overconfident in it and try to squeeze things into windows which just aren't really there, or maybe he sees it a little bit too late, but still confident in the arm, which can be a good thing, don't get me wrong. But at the NFL level, it's going to get punished if he doesn't work on the accuracy.
Last year, you know, that's what I mean. It's like Sam Darnold, you know, when he played for USC, you know, Oregon State guys, or, you know, Washington State, whatever, you know, however USC were playing, don't pick him off. They're getting picked off and they're getting turned into 6 points the other way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, let's move on. So we've got the other guy who's kind of set the draft analysts ablaze a little bit in the last couple of months. It's Anthony Richardson out of Florida. Where's Tebow's number? Now, let's not hope that's a foreshadowing, shall we say. What's your thoughts on Anthony Richardson?
I was just about to ask you the same opinion. What on you go?
All right, I'll go. Yep, I'll just do it kind of in the same format. He's got great size. You know, he is almost exactly the same as Will Levis. He's 6'4", he's 232 pounds. And I think that Anthony Richardson provides the best upside in the class because the raw potential and everything he can tap into is absolutely there based on the absolute athletic ability that he possesses. He's the best athlete at the QB position in this class, without a doubt.
Yeah.
He's got unique arm strength, and it's not, from his build, he doesn't quite look, you look at Will Levis's pro day and the guy is like the Hulk.
Yeah, he looks like a machine.
Yeah, whereas Anthony Richardson, he's wearing a skimpy, skin tight t-shirt, that kind of thing, and he doesn't have like the 600-pound bicep muscles that you see on Will Levis. But the arm strength is definitely there for sure. He's also very, very good under pressure. I'll say that much. He can hang in there and take a shot, and it doesn't really affect. And I'll move into the bad part. The little accuracy he has, that's the problem. 53% completion is a real. I think it's 53.8%, but that's going to ask a lot of questions. That's really on the lower percentile that you can have.
Not if he's going to the Falcons.
Yeah.
Because they've got running backs, which means they're going to be a run-first team, and they're not going to ask him to throw the thing on, 3rd and 19. If they can keep disciplined, he's going to be throwing it in 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, 2nd and 4, things like that. So this is the thing. Although his accuracy is low, you've got off-season to patch that up, because you can patch it up when you've got better receivers with larger wingspans. I just think, is it again landing spot? I've got him at the Falcons, but he could go to the Colts 4, and it's one of those things. This is the thing. I'll tell you right now. My 4 quarterbacks going top 4, as you know. I've got Bryce Young or CJ Stroud 1. The other one's going 2. Levis or Richardson's going 4 to the Colts. And the other one's going to the Falcons.
Yeah.
That's nobody else in that, in my opinion, should be taking a quarterback.
You don't believe in Desmond Ridder?
No, I don't.
No.
I don't. I watched him last year. I don't. I know we only got maybe 4 or 5 games of him.
Rookie quarterback in a less than desirable situation, though. Like you say, it's all about the situation, the landing spot, and Atlanta wasn't. It was a crap heap last year.
Right avulsion, fractured thumb. He still played.
What'd you say?
Aaron Rodgers had right avulsion, fractured thumb. I mean, I don't have a clue what the hell that is, but I'm going to try and have a week off work with it.
Yeah, no, true. All right. More on Anthony Richardson, the negatives here, and I don't think that, and this is something that can be patched up probably if you've got a quarterback coach that's worth his salt, probably something could be patched up in this year, is he doesn't deliver passes with touch, which like you say, if he goes to the Falcons and you maybe want to include the running backs in the passing game, keep the defenses honest, you kind of want a little bit of touch. You don't want to be blazing that out at 1,000 miles an hour. If you can avoid it. He's only a 1-year starter.
So is Mitch Trubisky.
Yes, true. And look how that turned out.
Okay, that doesn't really help my case. But...
only a 1-year starter combined with the 53% completion percentage almost offsets. You could say, I mean, I don't know how many quarterbacks, regardless of what level they come into the league at, have 1-year starter. What am I trying to say here? I mean, if you're a quarterback coach and you're bringing in you're starting, see, even at the high school level, if you're coming in and your quarterback that you have to work with now only started 1 year and now he's in his senior year and he came 53% completion percentage, it's almost something you can offset in terms of a worry. So in terms of the worry that it can give you, they almost offset. It's like, okay, it's only 1 year, he can improve. Right, and absolutely he can. And like you say, with receivers that have a bigger wingspan or more experience, that kind of thing. Because realistically, at Florida, can you give me any guys that he played with that are top quality NFL level, or even a decent number 2 receiver? Nah, I don't think you can. So
That's the thing. I mean, it's not like Florida's obviously one of the powerhouses. It's not as big as some of like Ohio State or Oklahoma or anything like that. But it's actually quite funny when you see players coming out of the draft. I mean, we know who they are, but if you said to a randomer, he's from Kentucky. Who did Kentucky play last year? A lot of these players, like Zach Wilson. I'm going to be honest. I didn't see Zach Wilson playing college at all.
I mean, Brigham Young. Do you know what I mean? It's a small school,
but that's the way it is. And I want to see quarterbacks succeed. You know me. I want guys that are doubted to succeed.
Look, I want all these guys that are coming in to succeed, unless they go to the Vikings or the Lions or the Bears.
Better if their numbers divisible by 8.
Yeah,
that's my thing.
But my last real gripe on Anthony Richardson, sorry, just one little thing is, I lacks a little bit of real situational awareness. You see, maybe, can be maybe they're going for it on 4th and whatever, 4th and short, or even 3rd and short, and he throws short of the sticks. Now, this isn't a Kirk Cousins level of memeability, you could say. What he did in the playoff game, based off the guy, he's only a 1-year starter. So all these things, all these negatives are not huge. They can all be worked out, and this is all part of the upside. Anthony Richardson has the biggest upside in this draft for a reason. And I think that he can live up to that. I think 10 years down the line, we're talking about these 4 guys. I think Anthony Richardson, depending on where he lands, if it is the Colts, I think you could probably say Anthony Richardson is the best quarterback in this class. There you go. There's my hot take.
Ooh. Will Levis.
Will Levis?
Absolutely. Yeah. But okay. I'm going to make a prediction. We're going to have 3 rookies in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks in the playoffs.
Okay. Well, I'd like it. I mean, who do you see? I think the Texans are whoever goes to the Texans.
Panthers,
I know.
Panthers, Falcons, Colts.
Yeah. Okay. No, I'd agree. I could agree with you on that for sure. All right. Let's take a short break. And when we're back, we'll hit our day 2 guys, day 3 guys. And I've got one honorable mention that's probably going to go undrafted. All right, day 2 guys here. And I have my top guy from day 2. I have Hendon Hooker out of Tennessee. My positives here, right? He's got good size, 6'3", 221 pounds. Slightly, obviously, a little bit smaller than the other 2, but still a good size. It's what you kind of want. He's in that kind of percentile, that ideal frame you'd want. Got dual threat ability. He's a good decision maker. 58 touchdowns to just 5 interceptions across his college career. And he's got leadership and toughness is what's kind of rings out when you speak to, or when you hear from coaches and scouts across the league. This is what they think of this guy. Great leadership, and he's tough as well.
Dual threat's what you need now in the NFL. That's just a fact. Good decision making, you need that as well, because of course you're going to be under a lot of duress. And this is the thing. You see some of these rookies in pre-season and they set the world on fire. But they're playing against guys who are going to work at Walmart the week after. You know what I mean? It's the thing about day 2 guys that I like, and it doesn't matter who the day 2 guy is. There's a lot more chance to succeed because nobody's day 2 and 3 because nobody's expecting you to. Day 1, if CJ Stroud bombs, Will Levis, Andy Richardson bomb, well, this is a disgrace. Day 2, if you succeed, everyone loves you because the quarterback that comes to mind for me in day 2 is Dak Prescott.
Was he not day 3?
No, 3rd round, 4th round, something like that.
I think he was 4th round, but I get what you're saying, yeah.
And I just think it's important that guys are given a chance to succeed. And this is the thing. I would rather go to a bad organization, sorry, a good organization and be a backup to start than go to a bad organization, start and bomb.
And destroy your confidence, which kind of could set a precedent for your whole career.
You know, and I think that dual threat is important, good decision making is important, as long as you're accurate. What's his accuracy? Have you got his accuracy stats there?
I don't have it to me, but if he's a good decision maker, I got to say it's probably,
Yeah, I've got to say he's pretty accurate then.
Yeah.
And you know, as I say, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't look at the day 2 and 3 guys because I tend to look at them closer to the draft because because we're still in free agency.
Yep.
And of course, there's a lot of teams out there. Maybe go, oh wait a minute, I might go and try and get Kirk Cousins here because I don't trust these. Because I'm drafting number 18. I've just picked a number there at thin air. I haven't looked at the actual draft list.
Is that the Steelers? It's not possible.
Whoever it is, you know what? Whoever it is, I didn't look at the draft list before picking that number. Oh wait a minute, I don't trust my quarterback here. Oh, I'm not going to get one of the top 4. I better go and try and get Kirk Cousins, or you know, I don't trust my quarterback here. Oh wait a minute, who's available? Let me see. I might try and get one of them because I'm not going to get a top 4. I don't trust these guys day 2. So I think once the free agency period finishes, then I'll have a look at there's quarterbacks going. Where's the day 2 guys going to fit? Because it's going to be very interesting come the end. Could the Jets be looking for a quarterback?
You know, they could be interested in one of these day 2 guys for sure.
Although I do have a theory about what's going to happen with the Jets and Aaron Rodgers, but I'll get to that at the end.
Yeah. Okay. All right. My negatives here for Hendon Hooker: tore his ACL in his senior year. You know, I can't remember how early it was, but you've got to say that's going to, at the very least, hinder some of his rookie year.
I don't know. I mean, players have injuries in the NFL all the time. The only thing it's going to do is it's going to put pressure on GMs that will go, wait a minute, I was going to take him, now I'm not.
Yeah, you know, a torn ACL in your senior year can take you off some draft boards, to be honest.
Yeah, of course.
I don't think he's got the arm strength that he could rely upon to make big time plays, and obviously that could change. But eventually it would hit a plateau, and I don't know what the upside of his arm strength would be. He's late to react to pressure a lot of the time, and you know, we say, you know, Will Levis is going to be 24 in his rookie year. Hendon Hooker will be 26 at the end of his rookie year. That's a concern. That to me, you know, you can't really say 10 years because you just don't know.
No, of course. But it could be one of those where it could go somewhere where it's brilliant. You know, I mean, I'm going to be honest. I think they're going to go with Sam Howell, but say he went to Washington or say he went to Detroit, they actually have receivers.
No, absolutely.
You know, so it could be one of those things where it depends where he goes, could ultimately make him a star.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, I think after Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, I don't think you can write any of these quarterbacks off from making a splash even in their rookie year, you know?
The only thing is, though, as we said about Brock Purdy, he had cheat codes all over the field.
Very true, very true. But who's to say that in maybe 2-3 years, a team like, I don't know, just spitballing here, maybe the Panthers, okay, maybe that's a bad example. Say like the Commanders, Detroit, yeah, that kind of thing. They've got those kind of splash cheat code players that the 49ers have, and they're a real powerhouse contender. Because they've got the pieces there. I think, you know, if you say Detroit for sure, they've got the pieces there. And, you know, we'll obviously get to it, but Detroit win the division next year for sure.
Yeah, I've got them at 10-7.
So, yeah, I mean, you know, for sure, I don't think you can ever write off a quarterback from now on at any point in the draft as being, you know, he's not ever going to work out because you just don't know what it entails. Maybe the team he lands in becomes a long-term solution for him, and he becomes a long-term solution for the team, and then they become a powerhouse. It's not impossible. Yep. these teams that aren't locked, teams like you've got the Bears, obviously, and I don't think the Bears rebuild is going to last very long, but you maybe got the Texans, the Jets, depending on how long they get Aaron Rodgers, I don't know.
By the way, I'm gonna say something.
Mm-hmm.
What if it goes somewhere now? Don't take us the wrong way. Say Kansas take a quarterback,
Mm-hmm.
or that's probably a bad example. Say, try to think, somewhere like the Chargers take a quarterback,
Mm-hmm.
and Justin Herbert gets banged up,
Mm-hmm.
leg snapped.
Not what you want.
There's not definitely not. What if the backup comes in, who's one of these rookies, Hendon Hooker, just for example,
Mm-hmm.
and he takes him to a Super Bowl?
Mm-hmm.
There's a fella did that in New England. He was drafted 199. He did it, but I keep forgetting what he ever accomplished after that.
It doesn't sound important to me. Sounds like a bit like a drugs cheat, but I jest. No, I mean, I used this, obviously I said this comparison before. Brock Purdy took the 49ers to the NFC Championship game.
But he had cheat codes, so let's not move on to that.
But it's not impossible. I mean, the Chargers have, the upside for the Chargers is all good. So
yeah, I'll give you that.
Other than the fact they're the NFL equivalent of Hibs. And I'll always say that. I think the Chargers, they've Chargered it. Because we say, the Hibs, they've Hibsed it.
But you see, the thing is, they do play in a fantastic stadium.
Very true. Easter Road is very nice.
No, I meant the Chargers. Considering I'm going to be able to see it on Saturday night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, WrestleMania.
Oh, of course.
Rey Mysterio's fighting.
I could never really get back into wrestling once I reached the age of about 13. But the one thing I did like was, I can't remember the guy's name, but he's just batshit insane. He's on YouTube and he's like a grown man, and he plays with wrestling action figures.
Yes, Bray Wyatt. He's a bit of a loon ball.
Oh, he's amazing. He's absolutely, he's absolutely hilarious. And he names all the wrestlers. He gives the wrestlers different names. Like John Cena is Super Cena, like Super Saiyan. I love that. And then the guy's hilarious. I wish I could. Hang on, I'm gonna go fact check this because he deserves it. I've got a YouTube tab open here. Yeah, wrestling figures. That's what we're typing.
No, Rey Mysterio's fighting the Sun.
Where is the guy?
We'll come back to it because we've got more quarterbacks to discuss here.
Yeah, no, we do. Of course, we are getting off topic. We can talk about wrestling figures. I mean, this is absurd for an NFL show. We're talking about wrestling action figures, which I always thought were very homoerotic. They worry that. No, I won't get into that. Never mind. Don't listen to me.
Quit this show in a minute.
All right. Let's move on to a guy I love on day 2. He will be a steal for whoever gets him on day 2. If he's a third round pick, and I think maybe I'm contradicting myself slightly. What you may be about to hear may surprise you, but
going to B-Hizzy?
No, absolutely not. No. Max Duggan. I think a lot of people maybe could say he would be a day 3 guy, maybe late round day 3 guy. I disagree. I think Max Duggan, what we just saw, him taking TCU to the college football championship game. And I know they got pumped, but they're playing against a powerhouse in Georgia. All right.
Doesn't matter. They had 53 guys, the same as the other team.
Well, yes. Okay, fair enough. Right. Let me talk about Max Duggan at TCU. Great touch on passes. That's something that first round guy Anthony Richardson doesn't have. So that's an upside. Quick throwing motion, nothing wasted there. He's good at working through his progressions, and at the same time doesn't panic under the pressure. He's going to stick with it, and he's going to move from left to right, and he's going to do well at it. Max Duggan, slightly undersized, 6'1", 211 pounds. You worry about him maybe taking a big shot, and is his season over at that point? Guilty of overthrows. A lot of the time, really tests the, really tests the absolute ceiling of his receivers' catch radius. And I don't think he leads his receivers particularly well. But again, upside is there. All things can, other than the size, can be worked out of his game.
Size doesn't matter anymore in the NFL, I don't think.
I mean, you could just leave it at that, and I'll be like, oh, I hope so.
Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson, these guys have quashed the size thing.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
wish you a little bit more from Kyler Murray, but he's on the right track.
So, where do you see Max Duggan going?
Day 3, does he just seem to you he could be like a real Bills pick?
It strikes me it could. Do you know who we've not mentioned at all, quarterback wise?
Mm-hmm.
Miami.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Are they out on tour?
I mean, for sure. I mean, it'd be interesting for sure. I think
Tennessee, are
AFC's.
they all in on Malik Willis?
I absolutely don't think so. No way. They could be a surprise contender to trade up and maybe get one of these top quarterbacks because they're only at what is it 11 or something?
Something like that. So yeah. I mean,
it's right. Really possible they could trade up and get a guy like Will Levis.
I'm going to say it right. Is Jordan Love the guy? What I mean by that is, do they trust Jordan Love enough to get them to the playoffs?
I think that if they didn't, they would probably not be trying to move on from Aaron Rodgers. They'd probably be shipping Jordan Love out for somewhere like a second round pick. If they could, that'd be the real upside to his trade away. But no, I can't say I think the Packers, if they're going to bring in a quarterback, it's going to be a veteran. I've actually been linked with Matt Ryan, which I got a little bit of heat of on Instagram because I said that Matt Ryan is a top 30 quarterback of all time.
Ooh, never won the big one though.
No, he's never won the big one, but he's got a lot of nice numbers, that kind of thing. And this really pains me to say, but he is an MVP winner,
He still lost a 28-3 lead in a 33.
Well, it wasn't just him. For some reason, was it Kyle Shanahan of all people decided to only run the ball 5 times in the second half? You're not much you can do.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, it's not all Matt Ryan.
He should have overruled him. Anyway, that's for a different day.
All right, that's my day 2, guys. Anything you want to say on Max Duggan?
No, as I say, I like guys that are 6'3", trunky, can make throws. And again, I'll keep saying it, landing spot. Could he go to Minnesota if they're out in Kirk Cousins?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I suggested on the Minnesota Vikings group chat that they take a quarterback day 2 or day 3, groom him. Oh, don't use that word. For a year, and then, then release him. You know what I mean? On the market. Not on the market, on the field.
Yeah.
Put Kirk on the market. That's what I was trying to say.
Aye. Yeah, that's good. No, that'd be like, it'd be a solid plan. I mean, Kirk Cousins, again, is one of those guys, one of the solid veterans you could maybe trust to mold, that's the word you should have used, mold a young rookie quarterback with a ton of upside. Like, I'd have to say Max Duggan is.
Okay.
And, getting to, and I know they have Quentin Johnston, who's a receiver, but really an anomaly. I don't really know many other TCU players that were top quality this year, and they got to the playoff.
That's the thing. I mean, I know they made the college championship game, but they talk about the semi-final win, but you go and what happened in the championship game? I think
the big one,
64,
66, 7, something like that. I mean, it's funny because I actually I wanted to watch the college football playoff championship game. And this is when I'd arranged to work around Dell, so I wasn't going to be working early the next morning. And then, the night of it, I thought, nah, I'm not going to get up and watch this. I absolutely know Georgia are going to destroy them. And sure enough, they did. So
I switched over and caught Road Wars.
Yeah, well, I can't blame you, to be honest.
I like the World Wars, though. That's good anyway.
Yeah. All right. Well, on to day three. And speaking of, I've only got one guy here, but speaking of the college football playoff championship game, his opposite quarterback, the guy on the winning team, Stetson Bennett out of Georgia. The guy's a two-time college championship winner.
But
What more
what do
else
we
can you
say?
say?
But what do we say?
Yes, of course.
He's
Superb
going to
spot. Yeah.
five-star receivers,
Hmm.
five-star tight ends, five-star running back, five-star O line.
Hmm.
Where do you see him landing? I'm going to say New England.
Yeah. No, I could definitely see that. I think New England is one of the places that you'd see him excel to beyond his ceiling, potentially. Day three guy, not really given much of a chance, kind of really dismissed by a lot of people. I mean, for sure he's going to get drafted. I don't think he's really going to fall out of the draft. I think that it would be malpractice to have a guy with such a decorated college career fall out of the actual 200 and however many picks it is, 256, something like that. Um,
Who do you go to
and
the Rams?
yeah, I mean, it's a Rams pick for sure. So, here's what I got to say, Stetson Bennett. Great release, reacts to pressure quickly, underrated scrambler, and he's got a good touch thrower, which again, like I was saying next, again is something Anthony Richardson, who we all say is going to go in the first round, flat out doesn't have. All right. On the other side, very, very undersized and not something you feel uncomfortable with. 5'11", 190 pounds. And obviously he can bulk up, but he's not getting any taller unless you put him on stilts. And I think that maybe affects his scrambling ability a little bit.
Well, Kyler Murray's 5'10" and an eighth.
Mm-hmm. And
So,
Bryce Young is about that as well. So,
you know what I mean? And he's going to go number one potentially.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, like you say, it's not a deal breaker. It's just the bulk is what I worry about. 190 pounds. Like you've got a guy 110 pounds more than that falling on him. That's the season over, clearly.
Kyler Murray, though, is only 210.
Mm-hmm. You
I love
feel a bit better about
how,
that, though. I think the 200-pound mark is about right. He's really on the bottom side of it, but you'd feel I feel better about Kyler Murray's weight compared to his height than I do
you
about
just see
Stetson
some
Bennett here.
linebacker or nose tackle just absolutely ragdolling him, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
You just absolutely see
That's
that.
that's the worry. And again, he can bulk up, so it's not a deal breaker by any means. Arm talent, average, kind of like Hendon Hooker. I don't think he's going to be able to rely on his arm strength to really make big time plays. And unfortunately, as a product of his system at Georgia, very reliant on top playmakers. And you can't blame him. You got to make use of what you've got there. But he's not going to, I don't know if you could say he's going to go to an NFL team that has, 3, 4, 5 guys that start in the NFL on offense in terms of, do you know what I mean, from college level?
It's one of those things that I said there, potentially New England,
Mm-hmm.
you know, Buffalo maybe,
Mm-hmm.
but it's all these, it's all about trying to, it's finding a quarterback in this draft is you expect your first rounders to play. That's
Mm-hmm.
just going to be, I think Tom Brady got lucky
Mm-hmm.
that Drew Bledsoe got injured. He got lucky.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see that really happening again. I think doctors in the NFL are better now.
Mm-hmm.
Trainers are better. Players are more conditioned and things like that. So it's where he could go unless the Bears move off Justin Fields.
Mm-hmm.
Which we
But I
haven't.
mean, I don't know how you sell that to your fans with Justin Fields, who's the arrow's only pointing up for him, and I think I'm probably one of the only Packers fans that think that. Um, the arrow's only going up for Justin Fields. How do you really feel comfortable bailing on this guy who's a first rounder?
How do you do that? Because
For
you're
a guy like
the
Stetson Bennett.
Bears and because you're the Bears, you have a dysfunctional office, and you always make the wrong decision.
True, absolutely true. But I don't know. It's all interesting, and I think that, you know, regardless of what we say in terms of negatives, I don't ever want to put a label on a name, or I don't want to exactly define what I think these players' ceilings could be, because I refuse to believe anymore after what we saw from Brock Purdy. I genuinely believe every single quarterback that gets drafted, even guys that aren't drafted, to be honest, but especially every guys that are drafted, they can be top stars. I really think Brock Purdy, if he recovers from this, can have, you know, 10 years, 15 years of top QB play.
Okay.
Because things can all just fall into place. Look, I mean, you know, the 49ers are not going to be this powerhouse forever. Look, Kyle Shanahan may eventually leave. Christian McCaffrey, they might not come to a new long-term deal. That offensive line, which is so good, might not stick around. You know, they might not be the same in even 2 years' time. So it's not exactly going to be a powerhouse for 15 years, but they can remain relevant with a guy like Brock Purdy, I'd say.
Okay.
All right. That's my guys that get drafted. Honorable mention is Dorian Thompson-Robinson of UCLA. I think he'll probably go undrafted, but I think he can, you know, the upside for him is, again, really unlimited. And I think that he could be a top quality backup. You know, he could be a guy that sticks around the league for maybe 10 years, makes some really, really good money, and becomes a fantastic quarterback coach in 15 years' time. That is the next big thing at head coach.
Okay. Well, we'll see where this guy goes. If he might go Mr. Irrelevant. You never know.
Absolutely. Well, that just about does it for this episode of The End of the Fourth, unless you have anything to add.
No, nothing to add. Nothing to
add. Well, have you seen the new draft caps?
I have.
You a fan?
I want to see how it looks on players first. Because it's one of those things. In a picture, they can look brilliant. But you want to see how it looks on players.
Yeah.
What I don't like, though, is I don't see the sort of snapback.
I was just going to say that. Yeah, the flat brim.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I was just going to ask you that question. Are you a cap guy like those, or are you a flat brim snap cap kind of guy?
No. Got to be a.
I agree with you. I'm a cap guy. And they all seem to wear the snapbacks sort of things, don't they? So when they get drafted. No, I like them. I must admit, I'm a fan. I prefer the alternate color. I don't like the absolute solid color. I think it's like kind of like a stone gray, and then the team's color is visor. But no, I'm a fan. I don't really think you can get much lower than what 2019 was. I wasn't a fan of those ones, but I've kind of liked them all since then. Last year's what was last year's? I've got it up on the wall. Was it? Yeah, it's kind of the retro one. I wasn't a big fan of them at first, but I mean, enough to buy it eventually. And you know, I'm a fan of these ones straight away, so it's obviously a good thing.
Exactly.
All right then. Well, thank you very much for tuning in to this episode of the End of the Fourth Football Show. We will be back. What do you want to do next week, and when we'll be back? We'll be back on next Friday. We can come next Friday.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine with me. Yeah, Friday should be fine.
Actually, Kerry's birthday next Friday.
Oh well, tough.
Tough. I had to make a show on my birthday, so we can make a show on her birthday. I mean, she's getting, you know, £250 worth of presents. So
yeah, but she might dump you.
Well, we'll see.
Please, you've got to tell her what I thought you were going to do with the Devontae Adams. You've got to tell her and let me know.
I will. She'll appreciate it.
I've got to say, I'll have you on Facebook. The message request will be your wife with just angry face emoji.
Well, we'll be back some point next week. Maybe I'll do. Will we do a mock draft next week?
If you want, yeah.
Let's do a mock draft.
You're the boss.
All right, we'll do a mock draft next week. We'll figure it out. We'll work out the logistics, but other than that,
are we all 32? Are we doing top 10? What you want to do?
We'll do 32. We can figure that out.
That's fine. Yeah.
All right then. Well, yes. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. From the Prez.
Yep.
And from B-Hizzy. Ciao for now.